What is going on, everybody? It is Jew coming to you with some more comic book reviews. I read about 4 or 5 of them this week, so we're going to go straight down the list of all the comic book reviews. Before I get started, let you know I do comic book reviews, trailer reactions, film, show reviews, or reactions as well, commentating, podcast, collaborations, different stuff, and cool stuff. And the future is going to be some lives and live events and everything else. Alright, so if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, like, leave a comment below. If you've already been around, you know what to do. And, yes, so we're going to get started on, I'm going to go straight down the list of comic book reviews. And, this week I read a one-shot by Scout Comic. I don't read a lot of one-shots because I do like, volume series, but, this one is called Ghost Planet. It's by Scout Comics. This is a one-shot. It's good. I'm not going to overly praise the book because it is a one-shot, and it's a book about these explorers that were doing research and going to different planets and looking for a planet to settle in, but they have a family history because it was a family that was doing it. If you think of like Lost in Space, for instance, there's a family. Well, they have a history, but they got to this planet and they ran into these creatures. A creature did something to the son, to the guy's son. And then when they got back on the ship, the history kind of started to play a role with them. And one of the kids, I don't know, went through some type of possession, hypnosis or something. I don't know. Hallucinations. Walked out onto the planet. Walked away, disappeared, and they were the other sisters looking for the dead. He explained to the dad, like, yo, she ran off, we gotta go look for her. So the dad goes out there and he gets kind of taken over. So he gets taken over by whatever's going on, and their eyes start to pop out the sockets and all this different stuff. And basically, the family lost their mom. The guy lost his wife in the past. And what I got from the end is the reason why it's called Ghost Planet. It looks like what happens is when people go there, they meet their lost ones, and then they become one of them. So it's Ghost Planet. It's a decent book. It's okay. The art is not the greatest, but it's fine. Written by Jeffrey Barat and Sean Von Gorman. Scout Comics. It's pretty decent book. So the next one, let's get to the next one. The next one I read is issue 3 of Junkyard Joe. Now, I'm going to do a real review of this once I'm done, but we'll just go straight down the line with Junkyard Joe. This is issue 3. And I read issue 2, 1 and 2 as well. This is pretty good. So I'm just going to let's go kind of refresh our memories. Issue 1 of Junkyard Joe, it was Vietnam War. They were at war. It was a group of guys. And then this guy, it was a humanoid, but he was really a robot in disguise. He joined the group, and then the group went out. They noticed he didn't talk. They thought he was weird. And then with all hell broke loose, that's when he was revealed, because he was hit and the skin came off and they realized he was a robot. But he was manhandling every single body that he encountered war with. Even though they lost pretty much all of their crew, there was a guy named Muddy. He was one of the main guys in the group, and Muddy he actually survived. But the robot started malfunctioning once they realized I guess the robot realized this war is too much. This thing is not going anywhere. We just keep, and then he malfunctioned. Most of the crew was dead. They took Muddy in. Muddy explained that he saw a robot. The guy told him to shut up because you keep talking like that, they're going to put you in the crazy home. Anyways, issue 2 got to way to the future, past the Vietnam, all the way, I guess I want to say the 90s. He is a comic strip writer, is what he is, and he made a comic strip in the newspaper, I guess weekly newspaper, called Junkyard Joe, about a robot in the military. He was famous comic book writer. Like, people read comic strips and they liked it. So it's just comic strips, not comic books. He was famous for that. He was a retired veteran, lost his wife. Anyways, it was a more slower issue in issue 2, but he had these neighbors move in. The neighbors knew who he was. Neighbor has a daughter that's an artist, but he's a grumpy old man. He has lost a lot. He's been through a lot. They tried to talk to him. He didn't want to talk to him. But anyways, in the middle of the night, the freaking robot shows up at the door. They have this conversation. Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, that can't be you, right? So, anyways, at the end of that issue, it turns out something happened at a gas station, and there's these, government officials looking for him. Like, have you seen this guy? So they're looking for the robot. The robot did something, but the robot's wanted. Anyways, so now the robot's really hiding out in Joe's house, not Joe, Buddy's house, but he doesn't even know that. He just knows the robot's there, but he also don't want to know the robot's there. So he's actually doing a good job of keeping the robot with him. But I kind of jumped too far because we didn't even get to issue 3. But that's what happened to issue 3. It hasn't got issue 3 focused on the new neighbors, but it did not get into the I guess we'll say the government officials or servicemen or assassins, whoever they are. They're trying to get him. They haven't got it didn't focus on that, even though that's how the second one ended, with them looking for the robot. It got more into the daughter of the neighbor is a artist and wants to be an artist, and the dad's trying to introduce him to Buddy, and Buddy wants no part of it because he, first of all, he knows the robot's in his house. Robot's in there cleaning up, doing all this maintenance around the house. But then Joe gets his, I keep calling him Joe. Buddy gets his call. He gets his call that someone's like, oh, we heard about you. We heard about your wife, man. You're an old man. And I believe it's probably those government people. He said, man, and it's snow. It's a lot of snow. He's like, man, you don't need someone to come and shovel your driveway. He's like, no, I don't need your help. I got that under control. He told him no, but still this guy drives past his house and saw that the damn driveway was shoveled clean. The guy said to himself, like, how do you do that? So it's like, it's suspicious because, like, why do y'all desperately want to go and clean this guy's driveway? What the hell is going on here? But anyways, that one ended with an issue because the neighbors have an issue with the family issue. I guess the mom died. The reason they moved there is because the dad got a high-end IT job and they're not getting along with their new school and they're having issues and family issues. The youngest daughter storms out the house, walks towards Buddy's house and notices there's some activity in there. Buddy had the robot Joe, he had an issue where he was destruct. He reacted towards a sound. And I guess the damn robot has emotions. And anyways, the little girl noticed the activity in the house and noticed it on the inside the house and looked in the window and saw that. So, yeah, that was a spoiler alert, by the way. But I think I told a good amount of the story, but it's a good story. It's an A1 story. I believe this series is going to be one of the best series of new comics that came out in the last year. So that is Junkyard Joe. I'm going to make an initial review once I'm done with that series. So yeah, Junkyard Joe. All right, so we're also going to get to this one. This is called Goleta Romeo HitWoman. This is a Dynamite. This is from Dynamite. This is a Dynamite comic. This is my first Dynamite. I've never had Dynamite before. This is a good read. It's a very you don't want your kids. I mean, if you want your kids to read it, fine. It's a more mature read. There's a lot of craziness going on here. It's about a hit woman. She's on a plane, and she's, I guess, secretly working for the government, but she's like a prisoner on this plane with I want to say one of the biggest criminals in the world. Anyways, the criminal dude, he has beef with his brother. There's like this island where they get to, but the criminal dude, his son is actually his lawyer. I guess it was all planned attack. Someone knew about this prisoner plane, shot it down. They end up on this crazy island. Somehow all three, there was like three people that was on the plane somehow survived, including Goleta Romeo. She survived it. She jumped out along with the most dangerous criminal lawyer and all that stuff. But anyways, they're on this island. There's like this big backstory with this creepy looking guy on there, and how about betrayal and who their enemies are. And then it turns out the guy's brother actually is running an organization there. And it turns out the two brothers have a problem. And then they find the I guess the lawyer survived too, and then he's being held. He got taken in. They found him and knew who he was and took him in because they knew that they hate his dad. So anyway, she's walking around the island, and the hit lady, and she figures out like they all at some point collide and see each other, and it turns into this big chaos of a mess. It turns into a mess. It's pretty brutal. Um, okay, I thought I heard my alarm go off. Yeah, it's pretty brutal, and it's a very interesting story. I'm trying not to tell too much because if you haven't read any of it, I don't want to give out too much, especially since it's a new series. I don't want to tell too much, but it's focused on her. Either way, she's a badass. She turns out she reveals what her motives, but it turns out she doesn't have a side. She's like, oh yeah, you work with Americans, but no, she don't. That the Americans don't she don't care about them. She don't care about. She only care about herself. So this is it's a good read. I recommend it if for any real comics, especially if you're like me. I try to avoid too many superhero comics as of lately because they can be a burnout. I love superheroes, but sometimes, man, them superhero comics are all the same. And yeah, so this is a good read. Goleta Romeo, HitWoman. So so these are some of the books I read. Am I missing one? I guess I'm not missing any. I thought no, we're not missing any, so we're good. These are the books I read this week. I have a few more that I'm going to be going through. Gold Goblin, I have not read that yet. Matter of fact, I have Gold Goblin 1 and 2. I'm going to go through both of them. I also need to finish the series of 20th Century Men 3 and 4. And then I think 5 comes out next week. So we got some more comic reviews coming soon. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition of Comic Reviews. And I'll see you on the next one.